94.7. 21 minutes after 2. Ekosiisen Subio on a Tuesday afternoon as we begin a brand new month, the month of March 2022. Meeting your Sabon Sufremi Obi. Ma Enamunian Sama Makwaba Bio and Famumra Ekosiisen so on a Tuesday afternoon. It's a brand new month, the month of March, our Independence Month, officially Ghana Month has been launched on Asempa FM and of course all over the Adom cluster. The whole month of March, Ghana Month. And for this month, you may be my Ghana. And you just want to stay tuned with us. Now, it is some community in our Abremo throughout the rest of the month. You be dear. And Munshan and so my and I training in Abefa Ghana. But any Benade in Sembebrina, we would want to welcome you officially to Ghana's biggest and the most authoritative political, social, and current affairs talk show. This is where all the big conversations happen in our country. And Munshan and so my 6:30 p.m. and a Jumedi Eba Ewie. My main production team, that's Dominic. Kisi Yeboa, Nana Chumberema, Jackson Osei Tiamoa, Yo Eric Opare, popularly known as DJ Yeyo, and a Queen Star, a Japan, or my Kwabana Santin Soboy and a Chidom Papa. Now, and just my woman say, you are Boafua, was so and a same year, the Ekosiisen Jumedi Ebremo. Onim say, sure, no, I will segment be brain, your sounds of our time, and no Edu Motors, your light has come, UPI, formerly near from Uniat Practical Institute, your Provident Insurance, almost with Provident, man, you are covered, and your Agbeve Herbal Center, Omubuain, near the sound of our time, Ebrel. May hear some segment, so Fabricam Pharmaceuticals, your health our priority, Obapa product, Wara Obecheke, EcoBank Ghana, the Pan-African Bank, Awake Purified Drinking Water, or say Awake One for Life, Rockstars Roofing Systems, quality and affordability. Your interviews are here on this show, and then we have a lot of interviews lined up for you. And also Chop Shop, Ghana's good food place, DBS Roofing Sheet, Roofing Papafie, and a HEPA Plus mixture, Emma Apomodane and Pa. Your discussion segment, also Weber Call, Weber We Care, Franco Trading Enterprise, Phone Papafie, and a dependable hair. I'm going to do a Dom Malakio, Abejas. And you may quit a boy, maybe you could see saying Ebremo. But there are some other good news. I was a Masutia and Menemo Ebechentiana Mashan and so am I. Ghana Revenue Authority, good news be Emma young entrepreneurs. Young entrepreneurs. Who first 5 years tax exemptions. Our young entrepreneur. And it's something I'll be telling you more about in the more video in the Hayara. But I was away Juma in some sectors of the economy. Sectors bear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it's 7 sectors. So we are young entrepreneur in any of these sectors are first 5 years in business, no a free untia tax beer. There is more I'll tell you about this. And rounds make the business record, simplified weekly business record. Booker abai boy emye bookkeeping papa make a home some extra and message to etimobile and the channel so mame. Join us on Facebook, join us on Twitter, join us on Instagram, and then on YouTube. Na Shay Jumedi live ewo YouTube. Very, very important. Your affiliate radio stations are hold one so ubetimi etie yen ewo so inti Kesmi FM 107.1 omono ewo Tamale adu omo fa yen Jumedi no live. Ba wonim se enra no the opposition NDC a media engagement one head office. Now some of the two media name and it's a party a petition the Commonwealth Secretariat based in London. Now much more aban your tia DSE use court no the mehuna NDC penny for bebre. Now even cases a court see am pono much more said the Neoma air corner say intentia bini nioma bi na abam into almost Commonwealth say omomra emeyen hwemu wo Ghana ana fe de wo mu no omomfa ntodwa na obia entibe. In fact party no akase apart from Commonwealth, almost just one petition Amnesty International and some other, bodies. Moka human rights nonsense. Eba ni say the awunim so say eba criminal prosecution where man yi mu Article 88 of the Constitution edi share nipa baako ensa. The Attorney General of the Republic. Na Oba Ghana ha ene the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, the lawyer Godfred Dame. Councillor Kwaba na pom to saying.
Akufo-Addo, Nyamiado.
Yeah, Danyami say. Me you say enra enkomo the largest opposition party edi two jano. Wanya emu nsem no etie. Omo kire mu a mo ben yi ye nneoma bi aso mo tata NDC mpanyifo and people linked to the NDC into omo the petitioner Commonwealth Secretariat say the ekos wo ye manyim na ni enyan. We are Attorney General of the Republic. O jene saying me pacho.
Well, pacho any Jinebia, it is totally baseless. And I think it's just an attempt for them to avoid justice. They are clearly seeking to run away from justice. So we say, beginning your Ganano, yes, mercy. And Ufumra, I require to deal with you. There is no one who is above the law. The law is no respecter of persons. And I think it is totally unjustified for any person to think that on account of being a member of the NDC or a DD member of the opposition party in Ghana, that person is immune from prosecution. No one is immune from prosecution in Ghana. Even former presidents can be prosecuted after 3 years. So there is really no immunity, properly so-called, from prosecution in Ghana, accorded to anybody by any law in Ghana. So, when these workers Omoko International Court, that's Omoko International Forum, they are petitioning Commonwealth Human Rights, Amnesty International, and all. I consider all as a ruse, an attempt to run away from justice. The courts of Ghana are supreme when it comes to enforcement of our laws. The Constitution has accorded sovereignty to the people of Ghana. Sovereignty resides in the people of Ghana. It doesn't reside in foreign people. It doesn't reside in international bodies, Commonwealth Human Rights, and Amnesty International, or whatever. And there's no way Ghana as a nation is going to consider our court subservient or subordinate to the supervision of any foreign entity. That's what will never happen. I mean, this is not the first time, as I said, NDC for say, pursue more for accountability, or more have a recourse to international forum. They do that all the time. Recently, they petitioned the international forum when they knew they had no basis when they came to the bonds that were issued by Honorable Kenofrata, Ekosiisen, and Ekosiisen. Around that same time, Woyobe, when he was being pursued by my humble self in the courts of Ghana for accountability to the people of Ghana as regards the sum of 51 million Ghana cedis that he had wrongfully been paid by the NDC administration, purported to resort to the African Court of Human Rights. As Ekosiisen, and Ekosiisen, I had to go all the way to Tanzania to defend the government of Ghana in the African Court of Human Rights. After a whole long hearing trial, the case of Woyobe was dismissed by the African Court. The allegations that he made, the Supreme Court of Ghana bias, and the Supreme Court of Ghana no ultimate justice. The African Court debunked each and every allegation he made. And they said that no, Ghana government, we have every right to ensure the enforcement of our laws through the Supreme Court of Ghana. And insofar as a matter bordered on an interpretation of the Ghanaian Constitution, the Supreme Court of Ghana has the sole and exclusive jurisdiction. It cannot be shared with an international body or international forum at all. Or review by international, the African Human Rights Court. That same court unanimously dismissed the action. The rulings are there. So I think that I consider it as very hypocritical, very hypocritical on the part of the NDC. Hypocritical because, say, only one or two rulings in their favor. They hear the rulings. They celebrate it. Remember, openly, challenge the certain decisions that have been made by the presiding judge over his matter, Justice Onyenuga.
Yes.
Of course, the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court initially ruled in his favor, a narrow 3-2. And then O'Haley ruling, they have cleared Justice Onyenuga of the matter. We're hailing it. And I also resorted to the same Supreme Court. I resorted to a process that has been guaranteed under the Constitution of Ghana, which is invoking the review jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court set aside the ruling by the ordinary panel after arguments have been convincingly made by me. So I think that all these attempts by the NDC to undermine the integrity of our judicial institutions and institutions of good governance in the country should not be countenanced at all. I consider them as unnecessary distraction. I think that they are a palpable and a very poor attempt at avoiding justice in the courts of Ghana. Everybody is accountable under the laws of Ghana. Everybody is accountable for his action some way or the other. And if you look at all the allegations, each and every one of them, without basis, the case of Akufo-Addo that they were commenting on yesterday, the facts are so glaring. It's an agreement that involved a foreign entity, Big C Gulf Trading Limited,
yes,
in Dubai. That agreement did not go through Parliament. The fact that they had early on purported to receive some form of parliamentary approval for the transaction is immaterial because that approval that they had was not one that involved Big C. It involved a financial agreement which they set aside. They put aside that financial agreement which had been approved by Parliament and then resorted to their own mechanism to undertake the transaction. Indeed, that in itself would not be criminal. It becomes criminal when the object of the transaction is not attained. The object of the transaction was to import ambulances for the people of Ghana. So the question is whether ambulances were in truth and in fact ordered or imported by the administration. The ambulances came from November, December 2014 up to February 2015. As the time they were leaving power in 2017. The question is, did they have any ambulances? Had they received any ambulances whatsoever? They have not utilized any ambulances or any vehicle that has been purportedly imported to the country as ambulances. So I think that the people of Ghana should not listen to them. And indeed, I am not surprised that they've resorted to all these shenanigans. I'm not surprised because it is their stock in trade whenever they think that they have their backs against the wall. And whenever they think they're in a tight corner, then they resort to all these machinations.
Yeah, but Honorable, for example, Enra making the point about our national chairman, for example, say Oshe Nasema Ewo court now. Even the prosecution witness, witness statement on my, he claims onye aware about the details of that statement and the signature was onim baby efi, and they believe based on a that admission by the prosecution witness, the case should have been moot. I was saying a discontinued case, but because I'm more persecuted national chairman inti and I'm more Sujana court.
What kind of spurious reasoning is this? You know the deception of the NDC. They will usually pick one portion of a witness statement and then go on radio and start talking about it. And for me, that is with contempt. You cannot pick one portion of a witness statement and start making allegations and inferences on radio. The proper thing is for the whole of the prosecution's case to be put before a trial judge and for the trial judge to make a determination. You cannot, on account of one statement or one portion or even one line of a statement filed in court, which is subject to cross-examination, go and scream on radio that you are innocent. I think that's even contemptuous for the court. So what they have to do, as I indicated, is for them to focus their energies in building a proper and credible defense any charge that is leveled against them. I mean, this is not the first time that I'm conducting a criminal trial. I conducted a criminal trial on behalf of accused persons when I was in private law practice. I conducted criminal trials on behalf of accused persons standing trial for the offenses of causing financial loss and alleged breaches of procurement laws. The case of Oseji, the very first case that was prosecuted by the NDC. I mean, it's an example. I conducted the defense of the accused persons in the matter. After a full trial by the NDC, the Assempa had been appointed by the NDC at that time, in which they called 70 witnesses. All the charges were dismissed. So really, I think that they should focus their energies properly. And that, for me, is a very sad testament to their attitude. They have the predilection to engage in all these distractions, and that even prevents them from conducting an able defense to cases filed against them in court. You would never find me when I'm counsel for an accused person or counsel for a defendant against the state go on radio making comments on the matter. I would rather. That is why, with all respect, I was having a lot of success in my private practice, and that is why I was at Tangira. In all humility, I've had a lot of success. Because I would not. In fact, this is actually the first time I've had to respond to them. They made such an allegation. They actually came out with a written statement in response to the ruling of the Supreme Court on review in the opening matter. I ignored it. They made all kinds of aspersions that the judgment was concocted and all that. I ignored them. I just don't understand why they have that tendency.
Honorable, Inti, the Awoka and with the greatest of respect, said, Omachi in the door so my because when chief be brainer 80, you almost say break a casa down, Emma. Aha. And the enemy Busane say, in the case of Ufuswam Pofono, are you still insisting, as what Attorney General said, state no still a credible case against him?
Well, I'm sorry for reminding me when Chief only commander for Cape Coast for where I stayed and the Assumes Red for Papa Yes. But what I'm saying is, I'm sorry, Mr. Both of you. Then Pageant say, case no cause or court. We have prosecutors, seasoned prosecutors from the office at Israel, who have mounted charges against the gentleman you mentioned, the chairman of the NDC.
Mm-hmm.
He should direct his energies at defending himself in court. And he has also very competent lawyers. So I don't understand why they should go on radio and rather be making these suggestions. The court will determine. Apart from that, all the imputations and suggestions they've made in relation to the police trial, Akufo-Addo and all, are totally misplaced. And I'm saying that the prosecution is being mounted on account of thorough investigations that have been conducted. Each and every case we have filed against the NDC is all on the strength of painstaking investigations that we have conducted. And I have to place on record that these allegations are not going to deter me at all. It doesn't mean that because any people have started screaming on radio that they are being persecuted, I'm going to stop prosecuting. I will continue to prosecute. If any docket is worthy of prosecution and it involves an NDC official, that docket will be prosecuted. All cases involving financial loss committed by the NDC elements, insofar as they've been thoroughly and painstakingly investigated, insofar as we are satisfied that there are charges that ought to be brought against the NDC people, the cases will go to court. So all these distractions will not deter me at all.
How about
and I also
cases,
have to say that it is the courts of Ghana which will determine the guilt or otherwise of an accused person. It is not an international body, Amnesty International, they themselves will decline any consideration of such a petition. So in Ghana, Amnesty International, Commonwealth for Ombeamo, Ekosiisen, the tenor of me, they know, and in respect to the Ken Bond and the Woyomi African Court, Ekosiisen.
Honorable, how about cases involving NPP officials and so?
Yes, the same thing. Same thing applies. Indeed, when in this country, when ABAJ was referred to a public prosecutor, ABAJ was a member of the Public Procurement Board, in fact, the Chief Executive of the Public Procurement Authority. I, when I was Deputy Attorney General, was on the Public Procurement Board. I served on it with him. We looked each other in the face all the time. At the time his matter came, I was still a member of the governing board. That did not prevent the president from referring that his conduct should be investigated by public procurement, by the public prosecutor. So, and it's also important to note, if the J case in Bayern, and then this for me, they be cited as an example of corruption in the MPP administration. Now, if there's evidence of corruption against you, now say you're prosecuting them, say, hey, foul play. And I'm a hypocrisy on. There lies a hypocrisy on their part. Because you have these glaring pieces of evidence that show malfeasance on their part, and you're prosecuting them, and you don't want to be held accountable. What kind of reason is that?
One other allegation against the Attorney General's department, and it's in the case of Opuni trial, no.
So just to emphasize, it is just, I mean, once any docket at all,
yes,
where the prosecution has come to my attention, which has been investigated by the CID people, whether it involves NDC, MPP, PCP, whatever, they will be investigated. They'll be prosecuted.
They'll be prosecuted.
As simple as that.
Oh,
I mean,
they made the point, say, Opuni trial, no, discovery phase, now, as some evidence be a prosecution, the person rely on, no, you are denying the defense, no, copies of those pieces of evidence. What is our seminar?
Well, sir, case came up even in the Supreme Court. I argued against it. The Supreme Court upheld my arguments on review. So, the court ruling, Supreme Court ruling, a father. And I do not think that rule of law can be promoted in Ghana when people seek to advocate a position which undermines the integrity of final decisions of the court of Ghana. I mean, so their conduct is very deplorable. Their conduct is very, very dishonest and deplorable and ought not to be tolerated.
The other point, and as Attorney General, and I recall, the president now was in your position some 15, 20 years ago. Now, under him, one landmark thing, was the repeal of the criminal libel law. They make the point, say, in a subtle, clandestine manner, and I say, behind the scenes, more person must reintroduce a criminal libel. In recent times, I must cite some journalists, police for Ekosiisen and in Asempa. What will be your reaction to seminar?
Hello.
Yeah, Honorable Otemenka.
Hello, Madam. Yes, please.
Good. Nami Busa said the claim said in a clandestine manner, as a more sign a sneaky criminal libel law, no, back into the system. And almost cited the instance, journalists in recent times, see police for picky one, and they are there for publishing what they say a false news. They are not particularly enthused about development. No, was saying.
Well, and so at the same, I mean, just like in the same vein as the other matters, without basis, because no one is prosecuting anybody for reputation harm or harm to one's reputation. So no one is prosecuting any person in Ghana for damage caused to another person's reputation. It is only when a criminal action is mounted in the nature of seeking to ventilate a person's reputation or grievance against the damage caused to reputation that you can see there's criminal libel. That's why it is criminal libel. That's why the expression is a criminal libel. Criminal libel is when you seek to criminalize speech which essentially does damage to one's reputation. So that's criminal libel. Now, that must be distinguished from laws which are intended to promote good order, public safety, public health, and the running of essential services in the country. Indeed, if you look at the Constitution of Article 21, there are various provisions which clearly limit a person's liberty insofar as is necessary for the protection of public order, public health, running of essential services, and such related concerns. So the point I'm making is that even though there has been the repeal of criminal libel, the laws of Ghana still have standing various laws which protect public order. And I think that it's very important for us to draw a fine line between what is acceptable speech and what clearly is impermissible speech.
Ekosiisen on Asempa.
I mean, and it is important also to note that every society, including the advanced countries, have on their statute books the laws that the people are now complaining about, publication of false news and law. I can cite many laws from jurisdictions in the United States of America, United Kingdom, Australia, and what have you. So I think that in essence, such laws clearly are not unconstitutional. And of course, I also appreciate that there's a need for us to also guide the principle in the manner in which such laws are enforced. Indeed, most of the arrests, I do not expect the principal to even consult me when they are doing that, because clearly, most of the time, when they act in the spur of the moment, seeking to enforce order, they do that all the time. And most of the arrests are not with reference at all to me. But subsequently, such dockets I expect to be sent to me, and then there will be the proper review. So I think that those will be my essential comments on it. That one, criminal libel, yes, has been repealed. No one is enforcing the laws on criminal libel in Ghana. If that is enforced, I will be the first person to deprecate such conduct. Secondly, there also ought to be recognizable limits to free speech. One cannot utilize the airwaves to propagating war, to propagating a defiance or violation of the laws of Ghana. No society will condone or tolerate that. And thirdly, such laws which seek to protect public order and all that, which I've earlier on referred to, are also in existence in other jurisdictions. They are in America, they are in England, they are in Canada, they are in Australia, and I can cite numerous instances too. And I also, lastly, as I indicated, assure the public that as Attorney General, if any excess on the part of the police is brought to attention, yes, I'll give the relevant advice in my constitutional role as a principal legal advisor to the government.
Honorable, if I heard you right, also subsequently, no, Sebibi ba efa the publication of false news. You would want the police to consult you, and I say, also on the docket, never review and sana or take action. And is that what you said?
So okay, so the police people derive their prosecutorial authority from the Attorney General.
Absolutely.
Any prosecution mounted by the police people in Ghana is on the authorization of the Attorney General or on behalf of the Attorney General. Now, that is why the Attorney General is empowered by the Criminal Procedure Act as well as the Constitution Article 88 to control the initiation and conduct of all criminal cases. So Attorney General can intervene at any time at all to halt any prosecution that is being done by the police. The point I made is that, yes, arrests are usually done by the police. Of course, the Attorney General also has powers under the Law Officers Act to direct arrests. In fact, the Attorney General has powers of arrest. Any officer of the Office of the Attorney General above the rank of State Attorney has powers of arrest, if you look at the Law Officers Act. So clearly, there ought to be some harmony and collaboration with the agency and the police. And that, if there is any prosecution that a person alleges to be not entirely appropriate, which of course is on the lines of the issue that you raised, publication of falses and all. If it is brought to my attention, I will definitely review it. And usually, people, when they are prosecuting very serious offenses, will refer the docket to the Office of the Attorney General and will take the relevant action.
Honorable, my final question on this.
So,
yes.
on the point, I think if my memory serves me right,
okay.
the United States, even in the United States Criminal Code, they have what's the section 1001, which also prohibits the publication of materially false, fictitious, or fraudulent statements. And then also the United Kingdom, they even have something like that, the Communications Act of 2003. There was the Malicious Communications Act of the United Kingdom, 1998. So you may perhaps do your research and you come to a conclusion firmly that it is not in Ghana or it is not entirely strange or untoward for the Republic of Ghana to have on its statute books laws which tend to safeguard the airwaves for a proper use, which is to spread proper information rather than the spread of false and malicious communication.
Okay.
False and malicious communication is prohibited everywhere.
I get that point, but now my question, no, substantively, and say, in the same statute books, no, yes, like I said, criminal libel has been repealed, but of course, among forms who the right to initiate civil action when they feel, say, publication be damaging one reputation. The case is made for Obi to say Bobie Ansa, or a journalist on radio. He, according to the police, they made allegations against the first lady and the second lady. As far as I'm aware, the first lady can sue and can be sued. Same for the second lady. If they feel, say, publication be equal to damage or more reputation, can't they initiate civil action? Should it take the police to go and arrest that journalist in the way are you know?
I think that is why when we are being prosecuted for crimes, we have what we call counts. One act can have various implications. An act by yourself, with all respect, can order on the offense of dishonestly, fraudulently making a representation, which is dishonest. The offense of fraud. I'm sorry. Then also, the same communication will also have implications, perhaps under Section 208, which is publication of false news.
Yes.
It could also have another element, which is to vest in a victim of such publication the right to sue for damages for defamation. So the fact that the communication has various elements, one being a cause of action in defamation, another being the right to prosecute under Section 208, does not necessarily make an invocation of that provision, the Criminal Offences Act, unlawful.
Okay.
Right.
I get that point. Finally, Honorable on the case brought against the convener for Fix the Country movement, Oliver Baker Vomawo. Ne lawyers, as we speak, have headed to the Supreme Court, and on my side, wo NFA, I think the Ghana Police Service, for say court, Modi Abranti and Koyeno, you knew very well, say district court, need the jurisdiction to grant the accused bail, but still, more than said you would keep him in custody. What
I think
would be your
first
reaction?
of all, not to take the wind out of your sails, but it's important to note that yes, I do not think that you are still an officer of the Office of Attorney General at the district court right from the commencement of the matter. The docket has just been referred to the office. We'll look at it or advise accordingly. Regarding the application for certiorari, again, it is on the strength of an ex parte application for habeas corpus.
Habeas corpus.
That was made by the gentleman at the High Court. It was ex parte, so there was no involvement of the state. It was just himself and the court. The judge presided over by Justice Daniel Mesa. I think that's the former. The Domahine.
Yes.
Yes, dismissed his application. Yes, tomorrow he has an application for certiorari in the Supreme Court. I believe my lawyers will be there. They will deal with the matter. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah, but what will be your opinion on Omua Eka say keeping him in custody
Well,
for.
as I said, I wouldn't have an opinion because the docket was just brought to my office. We'll look at it. We'll advise the police accordingly. But of course, trust that every action that I'll take will be above board and will be in accord with the laws of Ghana. And the gentleman's right, if any, would duly be protected.
Honorable, my nurse in the change our opinion, which I suppose will come in very soon. The advice to the police, no.
We'll handle it. We'll deal with it. Thank you very much.
Very well, Honorable. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. That's the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Godfred Dame, and